What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. I'm glad you could be here. And I got a quick question for you. How many of you have already started making the recipes for season 6 of Celebrate Sausage? Let me know in the comment section below which ones you've tried or which ones you plan to try. Because let me tell you, we have got some bangers in the lineup this year. Just to name a few, the Colombian Hanover, the gyro sausage, the chicken tikka sausage, yesterday's episode, the pepper steak. So hard to really just nail one down. Today's sausage is going to be fun. We've got a special guest joining us, Harry, from the YouTube channel Harry the Horse Barbecue, is going to be making a sausage that is a play on a particular dish that's near and dear to his heart. Take it away, Harry.
What's going on, y'all? Harry from Harry the Horse Barbecue here, and in this one, I am not horsing around with this chicken parm sausage. We're gonna take all the classic textures and flavors of an Italian chicken parm, case them up into beautiful plump links, smoking them on the offset for that barbecue twist, and then we'll pop on into a New York Italian classic with a Texas twist. Looking for some portable parm? Well, the horse has got your back. Let's get it.
Harry the Horse Barbecue.
Welcome everyone to season 6 of Celebrate Sausage. My name is Harry Calandria and I run a barbecue YouTube channel called Harry the Horse Barbecue. It's an old nickname, so don't question the channel name too much. I'm based in the mid-Hudson Valley region of New York, and on this channel I love learning about new tips and tricks when it comes to barbecue and cooking up Texas style barbecue with a bit of a New York twist. I cover everything from grilling to smoking, briskets, ribs, sausage. We're heading back to my Italian roots with this recipe, and we're gonna be turning a classic chicken parmesan into a portable, smoky sausage. That'd be some chicken breast and a wee bit of pork belly. Now, a classic chicken parm is a pounded out chicken breast, breaded in some Italian breadcrumbs, fried up, topped with some mozzarella cheese, some marinara sauce, some herbs, and you're good to go. So enough horsing around, let's get this chicken and pork out of the pack. So I'm starting with a little over 5 pounds of chicken breast. Nothing crazy, just picked it up at the local grocery store. But the first thing we gotta do is cube this up pretty tiny so we can fit it into our meat grinder. But if you're new to my channel, I really like to use some high quality proteins for my recipes, because if you start with a good product in the beginning, you're almost guaranteed to end with a good product. But for me, standard grocery store chicken should do the trick with this sausage. Speaking of this sausage, when I think of a classic chicken parm, I'm obviously thinking chicken breast, mozzarella cheese, marinara sauce, Italian herbs, Italian breadcrumbs, and I'm thinking Parmesan cheese. Those are some of the heavy hitters that are going into this sausage today. But one thing that I think would complement this well is some sun-dried tomatoes. And obviously pork belly is not part of chicken parm whatsoever, but this is where that Texas aspect comes in. I'm primarily looking for the fattiest portions of this belly, and since I have about 5 pounds of chicken, I'm only planning to use about 1 pound to 2 pounds of this pork belly. So probably about half of this will do us, and I'm gonna take on the fattier half because we're not looking for a ton of meat. We just need some fat within the sausage, which is that Texas style. A really nice Texas style sausage is around 70% meat, 30% fat, but in this case, I'm just gonna eyeball the meat to fat ratio. So combining these two cuts should be okay in the ratios of about 5 pounds of chicken to about 2 pounds of pork belly. But I'm gonna have all the exact weights and percentages for this recipe in the description down below. So make sure you check out the description for the full details of this recipe, because I don't wanna leave you guys high and dry. Our meat has been cubed up. This is gonna hit the freezer for about 30 to 45 minutes to firm up. We want the temperature of our meat to be less than 40 degrees Fahrenheit. So we'll pop this in and I'll meet y'all back when it's time to grind it up. So it's been about 45 minutes or so, and our meat is just about ready to be ground. But before we actually grind the meat, we have to make our chicken parm spice mix. It starts with our binder, which is milk powder, and this is about 3% of the weight of our meat. And to this milk powder, we're gonna add a couple of ingredients that might help the bind of the sausage. Some Italian breadcrumbs, and some Parmesan cheese crisps. I can find this brand pretty easily at my local grocery store. All I did was mash them up, and it'll give us that beautiful Parmesan cheese flavor. So the cheese crisps in. But to amp it up even more, we gotta go in with kosher salt, 16 mesh black pepper, granulated garlic, granulated onion, and some Italian herbs. Give it a mix around. And this is gonna serve as an amazing chicken parm seasoning mix. But if you're familiar with sausage making, you'll know that pink curing salt is a common ingredient in smoked sausages. Now, even though we're smoking these chicken links today, there's no pink curing salt in this mix because we are making a fresh chicken parm sausage, which means we don't need to cure these links overnight. We can grind the meat case it up, and then essentially smoke them off immediately. Speaking of that process, let's get that meat and grind it up. I should go this way. Now I'm gonna go with the coarse die today. Grab a pan. Meat is cold, grinder's cold, and the foot pedal's attached. Let's grind it up. While the meat's still cold, I'm gonna pass it through the coarse grind again. So our meat has a really nice coarse grind, but running it through the grinder can warm it up just a wee bit. So I'm gonna pop this back into the freezer for about 20 to 30 minutes, and then we'll mix all of our ingredients into our sausage and then stuff this beast. So now all of our ingredients are ready to go, and we're ready to mix up our sausage farce to create the ultimate chicken parm sausage. But one ingredient I gotta let y'all know about is the mozzarella cheese aspect. When it comes to cheese and sausage, you don't want the cheese to be melting out, so you can go high temp here if you want, but I'm more of like a real cheese kind of guy. So I searched far and wide for low moisture, full fat mozzarella. I remember back in the day you could find it in blocks, but now I'm just finding it in string cheese form. So I cubed these up and they should work just fine. So enough horsing around, let's start mixing. So we're first going in with our spice mix. The goal of this part of the sausage making is to just incorporate all these spices into the meat and just get those flavors nice and introduced. It pretty much smells like chicken cutlets at this point. You get to smell that heavy parm, all those herbs. After a loose mix around, we gotta hit this with some liquid. So I'm going in with some marinara sauce. I thinned it out with a little bit of water. I also hit this with about 4.5 grams of baking soda, as per Eric from Two Guys in a Cooler. That baking soda is gonna tone down the acidity of this sauce so we don't denature any of the proteins in our sausage. And this is about 10% of the weight of the meat. So we're just shy of 300 grams right there. This is gonna help hydrate the spices and the meat because it was a bit tacky, and it's gonna allow those spices to actually incorporate a bit better. Now that our farce is beautifully mixed together, we're gonna go with our 2 filler components. Here's our string cheese that I just cubed up and froze briefly, just so it can incorporate without breaking, and about 7.5% of sun-dried tomatoes that have already been julienned, and I rinsed them briefly so we don't have too much oil being incorporated into our sausage, but those are gonna add some nice studdage and really contribute to the flavor profile that we're going for chicken parm. Now we just wanna incorporate that evenly throughout and not lose one of them. Get back in there. And this is one way to know that your sausage farce is pretty much there. Your gloves are getting pulled off your hand. You could also make a little patty. Sticks to the hand, no problem, which means we've got pretty good protein extraction. So at this point, we could just case this up. Back scratcher, MJ. You know, have fun with your sausage, what? But also pack this down in between. Cradle. Just some 32mm hog casings that have been chilling in some warm water. Clip that off, push the farce all the way out. 1 knot and a double knot. And I'm going rope method today. If you get a little back pressure with some air, just pop it with the back of a knife. So once you've gotten to the end of your casing or you've hit a blowout, I cut the casing to leave myself some slack, and then I'm gonna start linking from where I began. So essentially, we're gonna have to undo all of this. I'm using a bench scraper that I just slide underneath my sheet tray, measure out the size of a link, pinch, slide, pinch, and then twist. And then repeat, pinch, slide, pinch, twist away. You just want to twist until they feel firm. If you go too quickly, you run the risk of blowouts. So we're essentially going to do this until we have all of our links. And after filling up that stuffer twice, we are left with a number of amazing looking chicken parm links. But within that rope, you could see those Italian herbs speckled throughout the meat. We've got tons of mozzarella in there, and you could see those red sun-dried tomatoes just peeking through. I'm willing to bet that these links are not horsing around, but these links are fresh and they're ready for the cooker. So let's go fire up the cooker. Just gonna use some leftover coals from the last cook, and 3 snake nests should do. Sweet. All right, y'all, the cooker's on its way up to about 200 degrees. Because these are fresh links, we are going to cook them at about 200 to 225 degrees to start. We still want the cooker to be super smoky, but we can't be in that cold smoke territory because there's no pink curing salt. So we don't want to run the risk of any bacteria forming. Pit is smoky and the temps are there, so let's get these links on. I've been under. Okay, so these links need to go on in one big rope because if we clip them apart right now, we run the risk of the links untying and becoming super flaccid. We don't want that. All right, y'all, these links are on the cooker, and if your grates are a little dirty and you get your links a little dirty while scuffling them around, don't worry because we're gonna throw them into an ice bath and that'll help clean up those links. But they're gonna rock in this super smoky cooker for the next 3 hours or so they can pick up some amazing smoke flavor, and we'll pull them once they're reaching an internal of about 150 degrees or so. Now I've got the damper to the smokestack about halfway closed, and our fire's rocking a super smoky 200 to 225 degrees Fahrenheit. I'll bring y'all back when they're looking plump and smoky, but until then, all we gotta do is close it down. Boom, season 6 Celebrate Sausage, shakalaka. All right, y'all, it's been about 2.5 hours on these links, running a nice and smoky 200 to 225 degrees. I'm thinking it's time for these links to take a cold plunge, so let's check them out. I mean, just take a looky-loo. These links are golden, took on a ton of smoke flavor, and I've got no blowouts, which is huge. Minus this guy, which was an initial blowout, but we expected that. But what I'm talking about is smoking sausages at a higher temp. Since we were running temps at 200 to 225 degrees, we really wanted to be careful to not completely melt out the cheese and cause too much expansion and blowing out the casings. So I just snipped these apart so we can separate them more and get them into an ice bath. But I also just want y'all to check out these links. Look how plump, firm, that color. Grates are dirty, but that's what the ice bath is for. That is looking phenomenal. So now these are heading to the cold plunge. That's gonna help shrink up these casings. We're gonna stop the cooking process here, and it's gonna help plump up these links just a little bit. And the last one into the pool. All right, y'all, at this rate, I'm just gonna chill down these links, wipe them down to clean them up, and then I'm gonna store them in the fridge overnight just to relax them. And then tomorrow we'll throw these links back on, cook them off, and see if this chicken parm sausage is not horsing around. But if you've made it through this entire process and you're celebrating sausage with me, make sure to hit that subscribe button for myself and 2 guys in a cooler, and I'll meet y'all back tomorrow. All right, y'all, it's day 2 of this chicken parm sausage, and now is the time to hot smoke them off so we can finally give them a taste. I've been holding my horses for too long. Let's get them on. All right, y'all, pit's rocking about 275. Pro tip, keep your links on a rack so that way they don't get super dirty like they did early on in this cook. And we're gonna keep these weens clean and smoke them off until they hit an internal of around 160 to 170. I put on the super ugly one because I can use that one to probe to make sure we hit our desired internal temp without the sausage leaking out everywhere. So see y'all in about 30-ish minutes. And after about 40 minutes on the smoker, these chicken parm links are finally ready for us to try, and they smell insanely good. And just take a looky-loo. That shine is there, they're super firm. You can pretty much bounce this off the counter. I gotta give this a good old pop test. That looks absolutely phenomenal. Super cheesy, not too fatty. Let's see if we get that snap. What in the world just happened to my taste buds? That flavor profile is insane. That one bite into the sausage has me salivating, and it's like I'm craving to go back in for more bites. And I think it's that umami, funky nature from those Parmesan crisps, but goodness gracious. This is a keeper for sure. Now, using all that chicken breast, you'd think this would be dry, but cutting it with just enough pork belly really adds the perfect amount of moisture. It legitimately tastes like chicken parm. It's got the perfect amount of salt, tons of herbal notes from those dried herbs and those Italian breadcrumbs. That cheese is the perfect level of melty, and those sun-dried tomatoes add a nice like sweetness and acidity. It is just a super balanced sausage that's not too heavy on the old gut. This chicken parm sausage is so good, I just can't stop. No, seriously, it's got an addictive quality. But let's slice up some coins. This sausage holds up perfectly on a slice. The bind on this is just serious. Super coarse in there, but you can see that casing and that meat is really adhered together. At this point, I don't know what to tell y'all except for stop horsing around and make this already. Thank y'all for tuning in to Harry the Horse Barbecue. I really appreciate you checking out this video. Make sure you subscribe to the vibes, leave a like for these parm links, and drop a comment down below. Make sure you head over to my channel to check out some more sausage recipes and barbecue content. And with that being said, there's only one more thing, y'all. This one is going straight to the horse's mouth. We'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace. These parm links are popping off.
What? The chicken parm sausage? Absolutely. That was magnificent. I feel like I could taste it when he was snapping it in my face. That was great. Gotta admit, I wasn't expecting sun-dried tomatoes. Nice little plot twist. You know, this particular recipe could have gone in any direction. I've often thought, what would a chicken parm sausage look like? And I gotta admit, I love Harry's version of it. You're gonna find a recipe link for Harry the Horse's chicken parm sausage in the description box below. If you get a chance to make it before I do, drop this video a comment and let me know what you thought. Thank you, Harry, for your contribution to Celebrate Sausage Season 6. Guys, I'm going to put a link to Harry's YouTube channel, Harry the Horse Barbecue. You can find it in the description box below. Head over there, see what he's all about. He's got a lot of great barbecue videos that I think you'll enjoy. And if you want to see some of his other sausage recipes, he's got a habanero Gouda sausage, as well as a poblano Oaxaca sausage that are definitely on my short list. So head over there. If you like what you see, be sure to give him a sub. And don't forget to tell him that Two Guys in a Cooler said hi. Thanks a lot for watching, folks. We got a great, big, beautiful episode lined up for you tomorrow. We're going to be making the Mexican tamale sausage. It's just going to be absolutely epic. I'll see you then. Bye.